Court of Nigeria will on Tuesday hear separate appeals arising from leadership disputes in opposition parties, the African Democratic Congress (ADC) and the People's Democratic Party (PDP). The appeal by embattled ADC National Chairman David Mark is slated for hearing alongside that of Governor Seyi Makinde-backed factional leadership of the PDP, led by Tanimu Turaki-san, both challenging judgment of the Court of Appeal. Turaki-led faction is challenging the appellate court's decision, which nullified its national convention and leadership structure. Mark, a former Senate president, is seeking an order to stay execution of the March 12 appellate court judgment affecting the leadership of the ADC, pending the determination of his appeal. Both cases at the Supreme Court, coinciding on same day, underscores the mounting judicial pressure on opposition parties as political actors begin positioning for 2027. Former Senate President Ahmad Lawan has called for a full, transparent and independent investigation into a military airstrike in Jili Fushimiran, Gebdam local government area of Yobe State, following reports that more than 100 civilians were allegedly killed. The airstrike targeting suspected Boko Haram insurgents hit a local market, resulting in heavy civilian casualties. Medical sources at Gebdam General Hospital confirmed receiving at least 35 severely injured victims, raising fears that the death toll could rise. While acknowledging the sacrifices of the Nigerian armed forces in the fight against insurgency, Lawan stressed that the scale of the tragedy necessitates a thorough review. He urged the federal government and military high command to grant investigators unhindered access to the affected area, ensure prompt medical care for survivors, and provide adequate compensation to the families of victims. Lawan also extended condolences to Governor Mai Mala Buni, the Yobe State government, and the people of Gaidam local government area over the tragic incident. The former Senate president cautioned against allowing the fight against terrorism to erode respect for human life. Away from Nigeria, Benin Republic has begun counting ballots following the presidential election that could extend a decade of economic growth while testing the country's democratic balance. Finance Minister Romod Wadagni is the front-runner to succeed outgoing President Patrice Talon, who is stepping down after 2 terms. Electoral Commission Chief Sakar Nafia said voting was calm overall, though civil society monitors reported that 100 incidents on early openings and suspiciously full ballot boxes. Despite nearly 8 million eligible voters, turnout appeared modest in several polling stations visited in Cotonou. Wadagni, backed by ruling parties, faces opposition candidate Paul Okpe, whose campaign was subdued before the polls. The main opposition party failed to feed a candidate, fueling frustration among voters and raising concerns about political inclusiveness. Djibouti's veteran leader Ismail Omar Guelleh won the country's presidential election with 97.8% of the vote. Guelleh won his 6th term at the helm, beating his sole opponent Muhammad Farah Samarta, a little lone figure who secured just 2.2% of the vote, according to Interior Ministry figures. Re-elected, the Guelleh declared in a social media post ahead of the official result, after early results gave him a huge lead. The 78-year-old has ruled the tiny nation of 1 million people for 27 years with an iron grip. He has made his name leveraging Djibouti's key location to turn it into an international military and maritime hub. It's 23,000 square kilometers hosts military bases and contingents from France, the United States, and China, generating substantial financial, security, and political benefits. The head of the Catholic Church, Pope Leo XIV, has embarked on an ambitious 10-day tour to 4 countries in Africa to address the need on the continent where more than a fifth of the world Catholics live. The first United States Pope, who was directly attacked by United States President Donald Trump, drawing sharp rebuke from Catholic, left Rome for Algeria, where he will spend 2 days. Leo is undertaking a whirlwind tour to 11 cities and towns. Will also visit Cameroon, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea. A senior Vatican official and close advisor to Leo, Cardinal Michael Zani, said Pope is making the visit with a vision to help turn the world's attention to Africa. You are listening to Vicinity 95.3 FM, transmitting live from Ikejile, Ijesha. Global news will continue shortly.
Sports.
In towards Lukaku.
Entertainment. Politics. All on your darling station, Vicinity 95.3 FM, Ikejile, Ijesha.
Thanks for staying tuned. For news update and live streaming, visit our website at vicinity953fm.com.ng. You can also provide us information via email at vicinitynewsroom@gmail.com or call 070-6108-3107. Now the rest of the news. The United States military said it will begin a blockade of all maritime traffic entering and exiting Iranian ports and coastal areas today, Monday, after weekend talks failed to reach a deal to end the war with Iran, jeopardizing a fragile 2-week ceasefire. The talks in Islamabad, which ran from Saturday into early Sunday, were the first direct United States-Iranian meeting in more than a decade and the highest level discussion since Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution. The negotiations came days after a ceasefire began on Tuesday, aimed at ending 6 weeks of fighting responsible for the death of thousands of people across the Gulf, cutting vital supplies of energy amid fears of a wider regional conflict. The United States Central Command said the United States blockade would be enforced impartially against vessels of all nations entering or departing Iranian ports and coastal areas. Vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz to and from non-Iranian ports would not be impeded. Australia on Monday said a woman would lead its army for the first time in history as part of a reshuffle of the country's defense force leadership. The government said the current chief of joint capabilities, Lieutenant General Susan Cole, will become chief of the army in July. She would replace the senior officer of the Australian Army, Lieutenant General Simon Stott. Coy's appointment comes as Australia's military seeks to boost the number of female officers in its ranks. A bit of sports. Former England national football team captain Wayne Rooney believes the upcoming Premier League clash between Manchester City and Arsenal would decide the outcome of the title race. League leaders Arsenal, who are currently 6 points clear with 2 more games, are headed to the Etihad Stadium. When Rooney said the Manchester City owed a crucial psychological advantage due to their experience and leadership under manager Pep Guardiola, and will be able to stay a little calmer than the Arsenal players. He warned that a dip in form can quickly affect confidence, while urging Arsenal to adopt a pragmatic approach even if it sacrifices attack flair. To end global news, another look at the main stories. The Supreme Court of Nigeria will on Tuesday hear separate appeals arising from leadership disputes in opposition parties, the African Democratic Congress ADC and the People's Democratic Party PDP. We told you that Djibouti's veteran leader Ismail Omar Guelleh won the country's presidential election with 97.8% of the votes. Lastly, you heard the United States military said it will begin a blockade of all maritime traffic entering and exiting Iranian port and coastal areas today, Monday, after weekend talks failed to reach a deal to end the war with Iran, jeopardizing a fragile two-week ceasefire. And just before we go, the last line. The best way to predict the future is to create it. That was Global News. It was edited by Oluwafunke Izo. On behalf of the production team, I'm IBRAHIM. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for News Nationwide at 6 o'clock. Good afternoon.